Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer courtesy of Nick. This is from Floodland Brewing. This has got to be the rarest beer I've ever tried on the channel, or the rarest brewery I've ever tried on the channel. I mean, just because it's got to be. So yeah, let's talk about Floodland Brewery before I get into this beer, and then we'll actually go talk about the beer too. So if you want to skip ahead, please do. So Floodland Brewing is a project from Adam, I want to say his name's like Paisy. Sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. He's formerly of Holy Mountain, which makes a lot of bunch of styles, but also mixed fermentation saison. This brewery specifically is devoted to mixed fermentation bottle conditioned saison. So very special stuff. One of the top rated breweries of all the world. I think on Untapped it's like number 6 or something like that. Something really high. Yeah, and then the crazy thing, you can't get this beer. You can't get this beer. It is there's no tap room. There's nowhere to really quite really buy this beer unless you sign up for their listing, their email listing, and then I believe you have to be part of the club, or maybe just be able to sign up and be able to buy the bottles. They release, I think, only about like 4 times a year, so every 3 months they release like 3 or 4 beers, and that's it. Super limited numbers, super high brewery. Again, they opened in 2017, so like right after I was, doing the beer trade thing. So never actually tried Floodland beer, but I've obviously tried some really insanely delicious mixed fermentation beers from Casey, Hill Farmstead, DeGard, blah blah. So really excited about this one. So about this beer. So this is Neither Names Nor Works. This is one of their I think rotating beers that they create. This was bottled about a year ago, and then it's actually best by like spring of this year. So, yeah, time to enjoy it. They put the date on with 2022. I think that's when it was bottled, but then obviously it takes time, bottle conditioning, all this fun stuff. So the Neither Names Nor Works 2022, but then the bottled on was 5 months, 6 months ago. 7 months ago. All right, something like that. 7 months ago. Almost 7 months to the date, actually. 6.4%, Neither Names Nor Works. And then on each batch of the beer, you can go on the website and you can check that out. So I'll post in the comments below, description below about their log of beers. Obviously, it only matters if you have one in your hand, I guess so. And then actually, PorscheDrinking.com. I'll post in the description is really descripts kind of like an interview and sort of like talking about their processes and their mixed fermentation culture, cost of ingredients, the bottle condition, all this interesting stuff that like really there's no information about this beer. Like I believe, no, I'm pretty sure I'm the first person on all of YouTube to review a beer from Floodland. It's just that exclusive of a beer. And the Porsche drinking article talks about the process, but also just reviews some of the beers that are available. So I guess the writer, has a subscription or something. So this is a Spell Saison, second use, pluots, and plums. It includes 6 different varieties of red plums and pluots from the Collins family orchards with filigree fruit. After aging, then dry hopped. I think it's mostly New Zealand, and yeah, mostly New Zealand hops. Yeah, bottle condition. So I'm very excited. Okay, no explosion. Good. We don't waste any of this beer. Pours out quite nicely. Sorry, I reviewed the Cheshire cheese and I'm smelling some smoke. But anyway, the beer. So one thing to talk about is the like the dregs of this beer. I think part of the mixed fermentation culture is created with like some of their favorite beers, some of the best mixed fermentation. Or sorry, talking about mixed fermentation breweries that I recently reviewed would be Hill Farm, Jester King as well. But dregs, a lot of breweries are inspired by a lot of the dregs of just like great Belgian saison, American mixed fermentation saison, and I think that's sort of where some of this mixed culture is derived. They obviously make multiple veins of beer, use multiple strains. So beer is hazy, yeah. Comes with this really beautiful kind of like sunset orangey hue. Looks a little bit like some kind of a peach drink, which sort of works with the addition of all these fruits in this beer. Wonderful fluffy white head, slightly off white. Yeah, it's wonderful. Wow. That smells a lot like just like perfect mixed fermentation saison. Like it's fruity, funky, has a little bit of like minerality slate to it. This really nice kind of like grainy malt, almost like this kind of like light kind of like cotton candied sweetness somehow. Like, and then the fruits are rich. There's ripeness. There's acidity. There's peach skins. What is it? Plums? Mostly plums and pluots. Plums and pluots. Yeah. So it has a stone fruit character, but it comes off like apricot and nectarine. But then it's obviously that fleshy yellow stuff that is in pluots and plums. A little bit of tannic skin, like a little bit of like deep funk in there. A little bit of that kind of barnyard funk, like horsey. A little bit of this kind of like deep kind of like almost light butyric character, a little bit vomity and funky. A little bit of like almost like light metallic irony kind of thing, like minerality there too. There's the bread. It's a very strong bread character, but it's an enjoyable one. It definitely reminds me a little bit of Hill Farm, just like sort of like this kind of like stream and rocks, like running water and stones, right? Jeez. A lot going on in this nose, cheers. I'm not doing it justice. Oh yeah, spritzy carbonation. What is that? Oh, so that's what it is. There's a wonderful hoppiness in here too. So it's like, so they call it like a lemon lime. I think they call it lemon lime character. Along with all the words in here, they also have notes about the beer more in depth on the website, and then like specific notes about the batch. I think that what they said was that they enjoyed the beer so much they almost were about to release it as not the brand because they didn't want to dry hop it, but they still ended up doing it. And yeah. So first thing you notice, this beer has a very mature kind of lasting Brett character. It reminds you a little bit of Jolly Pumpkin. It has this like plasticky ethyl acetate, funky. It's not overly dominant. Like I think these elegant beers generally avoid that. Up front, spritzy carbonation, really nice kind of fleshy stone fruits. Some really nice tropical thing going on. I taste like kumquats and guava, something more than just stone fruit. Some of that tannic skin is character as well. Also like peaches and nectarine somehow. Related to stone fruits. Really dry, but super fruity, almost passion fruity. It has this really refreshing, spritzy Southeast Asian kind of like tropical fruit thing going on. Yeah, I'm thinking of like kaffir lime leaf and lime juice and tom yum soup, right? It's a really nice kind of acidity with lime and yeah, and then there's this really wonderful kind of like aspiriny, drying tannic note there as well. A little bit of doughy malt. The hoppiness is there's a reasonable bitterness here, medium minus. Really wonderfully dry, but it's a combination of like citrus, lime, yuzu. Oh, yuzu, and then there's creaminess to the texture and flavor, almost like there was like dairy or lactose in here. It's a really nice kind of like silkiness and chew to it, and almost this kind of again lactose sweetness. Beer's bone dry, doesn't have any of that stuff, but and then yeah, there's this really nice kind of like tannic drying, hop bitterness drying, but also this kind of like minerality drying. This kind of Brett character has this kind of like stone, watery, like it's confusing. But a wet stone is wet, but licking a wet stone make your palate dry. So there's almost like this kind of like aqueous, wet dryness. Like it's the drying quality of like stones. Oh. And that fruit character up front now like offers really wonderful complexity. The lactic acidity is quite noticeable. I love where the lactic acidity is here. It really shines on lactic, so you get this beautiful kind of like super complex fruity yogurt flavor without too much of that kind of like acetic apple cider vinegar, distilled white vinegar kind of flavor on the back end, or balsamic. That's the analogy for acetic. So now it revolves this to this really beautifully funky tropical citrus yogurt drink. So now you're thinking about like mango lassi. So like I went all the way to like Asia. No, we're still in Asia, I guess, but like we went to India for mango lassi, and then we also went to Southeast Asia for like tom yum soup. And it's hard to argue there's possibly a little bit of like salinity and complexity of that in here, because like the minerality seems pretty driven. I don't know what the water profile here, but it seems like there's some hardness to the water here. Wow. And really, as you drink it more, it gets more and more tasty. Somehow the beer just gets more and more sweet, more tropical, more. See, again, I would never guess it's pluots and plums. It comes off so like fleshy mango, passion fruit, kumquat, pineapple. Wonderfully cohesive. The mouthfeel is just like nuts. Like this beer is bone dry with spritzy carbonation, but it has this kind of like chunkiness to the mouthfeel. Like, oh man, that's so good. Like it has like reminders of a pastry sour or a dessert sour, but it's literally like a world class, like bone dry, long ferment, not kettle sour. Like right, like it has these kind of like really tasty reminders. The fruit edition dry hopping, but it's such an elegant product. I mean, it's how do I describe this stuff? Like it's, I mean, it's like the best cheeseburger you ever had, right? It's like, or like the fanciest, best cheeseburger you ever had, right? Like something like McDonald's can be so pedestrian, so boring, so whatever, mass produced, but then like you have the most perfect example of it. Just like elevates a quote unquote kind of basic thing to another level. Sort of reminds you of like a pastry sour being like, all right, quick sour. Let's throw all the fruit puree in there, and then just elevate it to the most insane level of. I mean, it's sad to make the analogy because like a pastry sour is actually like a younger, or sorry, like not as old as this thought. Like this is like more classic than that. So I don't know if that analogy makes any sense, but it's sort of just like, I don't know, something pretty accessible and sort of have cheater flavors to it that, not a big deal, but then you elevate it to such an, and then that comparison sort of comes like, I don't know how to describe it, man. Like these analogies are hard to come by sometimes. I don't know. I used to watch Top Gear. It sort of reminds me of like the idea of like, certain cars being like, I don't know. I actually don't even know what specifically car brand I'm thinking of. If you guys could remind me, then maybe like something that's just like super, reminds you of something super flashy, but in the end, it is the most beautiful thing ever, right? Oh man, it's so good. I don't want to finish this bottle. Like it's so good. Yeah, this is so good. It's honestly insane. Yeah. That is 100 plus out of 100. Yeah, that's easily the best beer. I'm gonna have a hard time thinking about a beer better that I've had since I moved down here, and we're going on 5 years. I mean that's stupid. Guys, it's not just the hype. This thing is so special. Like, and it's not to take away points from like great breweries like Jester King and Hill Farmstead. Yeah, I've had those beers since I moved down. Think about DeGard. DeGard is pretty bonkers. It's hard. Yeah, to think of the beers that can compete with this would have to be like some of the best Hill Farmstead saisons I've ever had, which I unfortunately have not been able to review for you guys. I've mostly had it in a bottle share. So, um, yeah, I mean, for American mixed fermentation saison, I don't think I've had better. Like, yeah, Casey's great. I've had some great brands. Jolly Pumpkin is fantastic. That's not even that hype and rare, but that's some amazing stuff. But this is just special. Like, this is. Oh, see, now you're drinking more. That's another complexity. There's this beautiful pink grapefruit flavor. That's what I was getting. Pink grapefruit for days and days and days. A descriptor I don't call out because it's hard for things to taste like specifically like pink grapefruit. But, wow. Dry. Man. Nuts. Okay. So I don't have to share this stuff until next time. Cheers. That is a very special beer. Thank you so much, Nick. 100 plus out of 100. You guys can find videos if you think so, but my memory can't think of a beer that's better than this. No, 100 plus 700. Cheers. Later.